Howdy doody, ladies and gentlemen. It is Tuesday, November 9th, 2010, and this is Day 9 Daily number 213, and I was holding the camera for a long time, so I just covered my webcam, so now you know it is circular. Either way, it is Tuesday, not Newbie Tuesday again, because I'm very, very tired. I'm just taking a break this week. Yay for breaks. So I got a massage from a man named Garbo, and he was amazing. He was so good. Like, oh my god, after 5 weeks in a row of every weekend being out of town doing some Starcraft tournament, I was like, I deserve this. And he took one look at me and said, "You have been blessed with the gift of hair." Because, like, I grow lots of hair. Okay, I'm not going to go all the way up, but yeah, I'm a hairy dude. And he's like, I am also hairy, and I understand that the lotion will dry up, and I will rip your hairs out. Tell me if you need more lotion. So frequently I had to be like, a little more lotion there, Garbo. It was really uncomfortable. But for the first time ever, I didn't actually have my hairs ripped out during a massage, so that was great. Just put on a little more lotion there, Garbo. Just a little more lotion. And he was so nice. He was totally awesome. So I feel very good. And then I went and got a burrito. Now I'm here. I'm going to do a daily. It's going to be good. So, in exciting news, I'm going to announce a Fun Day Monday for next week. I think you'll like it. It is the following. You must expand every 4 minutes, period. At 4 minutes, 8 minutes, 12 minutes, 16 minutes, 20 minutes, you must build an expansion. You must throw it down. And you cannot start the expansion any sooner. You must build it then. So if, like, you early expand a Zerg and it dies, you have to wait till the 8-minute mark to re-expand, right? And you, like, have to expand. That is the goal. So we're probably going to have some really awesome games. Probably going to have a lot of losing, but what I'm hoping is that some of you will realize, hey, we can actually make use of 3 expansions and defend them. Yeah, that's pretty good. Might not get to the 4 or 5 minute mark, or 4 or 5 expansion mark, but what I'm really hoping is that there's like a 45-minute game where someone just like keeps expanding more and more and more and just can't really help it. But can't quite end the game. So either way, send those replays to Monday at day9.tv. Yeah! So today we're going to do something a little bit special. We are going to look at a Terran vs. Terran that's not particularly long, has some good action-packed moments. And we're going to watch it twice, once from each player's point of view, to talk about what we like and what we don't like, and what they're seeing and what they're not seeing, and figure out why my ear itches really, really bad. Oh, that was really good. Very glad I invested in that little bit of scratching. And I'm trying to think if anything else exciting has happened at all. No, I guess I just lead a really boring life. Let's do a daily. Let's go ahead and bounce into the game. It is a game between Menace Fuzer and Sjow. Sjow. I'll never be able to say this right. He's like Norwegian, Swedish, Denmarkian. He's Denmarky. Somewhere up there where they have invented letters and they have weird names that begin like ZDZS, and you have to like figure out a way to say that. So it's always a good little challenge at the start. But there he is, Sjow, throwing down a supply depot as expected. Let's go ahead and do his point of view first. So we're going to see him build the depot. This is a Terran vs. Terran on Xel'Naga Caverns. We like the wide open spaceness of it. Siege tanks are okay. On this map, they're only really great in the center. The rest of the time, they kind of leave a little bit too much space open. I don't particularly love using them. But they shall suffice. So let's see if we're noticing anything. Big things we want to note are what he's seeing, and as a result, how he's responding. Because a lot of times, people will do things, you know, like they'll build a barracks, let's say on 50 food, like their second barracks after they've gotten an expansion and all this stuff, and people will see that and say, okay, barracks on 50, right. But what they won't see is why, and it might be something as subtle as, you know, an SCV's here, and the opponent lands the expansion command center, and the SCV just pulls back a little bit. Something very, very little and subtle that you might not notice if you're trying to blast through all of the action. So I'm not actually going to be watching this that quickly. I want to kind of go through it a little bit slowly. We see one Marine coming out, and a second Marine's coming out. Okay. Looks like he's pulling back. That's sort of an interesting decision.
Upgrade complete.
We want to kind of be as naive as possible. We want to study what his build is. I don't want to really do much prediction at this point. I sort of blasted through this replay. Okay, cool. So we do see a factory going down. A little curious why we have Marines all the way back here, as it will let an SCV up the ramp. If we're worried about Reapers, that could be one thing. But I'm a little unsure of that at that point in time. Okay, cool. We have a refinery going down. This is a pretty common timing. Again, I wouldn't describe this as refinery on 21. I would define this as refinery after a factory whenever you can afford it, assuming you're building Marines and SCVs. So we're actually going to relook at that really fast, just to point that out. Let's look at the production tab. Yeah, come on, back up with me, game. Yeah, alright, our factory's right about to start, looking at production. Here it is, SCVs Marines being built, SCVs and Marines. You can even see them down here at the bottom. And there's another SCV, another Marine. Okay, there's the factory going down, and right when we get 75 minerals, bam, gets thrown down. Oh, it looks like it was on 20. And you kind of noticed there that I said, oh yeah, this is more like a refinery on 21. I guess it's because of this constant timing, this SCVs and Marines. And it turned out it wasn't a refinery on 21, it was a refinery on 20. You notice I didn't know that, even though I use this timing so much, because the food doesn't matter as much as the idea of I'm constantly making SCVs and Marines. Because if you just say to yourself, you know, oh, food on 21, you'll botch. Well, you know, you maybe forget an SCV, maybe forget a Marine or a depot or something like that, and then you'll kind of mess up the timing on this refinery. And we do want our Marines and our SCVs to come out on time. There is the supply depot going down at the back. This is kind of common timing that allows us to check out any sort of Banshees or anything like that. I'm not the biggest fan of this. I kind of prefer to actually have all my depots kind of in this area, because it really sucks when they have a Banshee there and they just kill your depot and there's like nothing you can do about it because you only have Marines. But yeah, it looks like he's building a Hellion. Oh, now there's a sort of interesting decision. I'm curious to see how he'll do that. Okay, there's the supply or the starport coming down. This is pretty common. To just go all tech structures, but no add-ons, no reactors, no anything. You just kind of get a whole bunch of Marines and Hellions right at the start. And here comes the Hellion right now. Now this is already kind of interesting, because this is the first scout the whole game. The very first one. Didn't do any other SCVs at all. Huh, that's actually quite interesting. And a tech lab coming up as well. And that is something super, super essential that you know. Oh, he's getting that Hellion, not just for the sake of a Hellion, but because it scouts. Oh, and now we're starting to see that it's not for harassment, it's not really for anything else, because honestly, I couldn't really see another purpose for just sending a Hellion out. In this matchup. I mean, the Marines are going to be there. They're going to kill it. It doesn't really do anything, but I guess you can do a little zoning control if you want. And too often I see people do this, and they say, alright, cool. They make a Hellion, and they just march directly on in. And it looks like he kind of has a collision course on it, but it probably will be sending it back at some point. You see, notice how he's no longer on attack. He's going to be able to retreat. Yeah. So he gets a read on his opponent. And we also see that he is going a Banshee tech himself. He gets all the add-ons now. Great, great. And he'll be getting Cloak. We'll find out in a moment. I'm just going to do a little more investigating here. Stim going down. Alright, cool. Now, one thing to note. This is the information we have. What can we deduce from this? What I always like to say is scouting the front. That's what it's called. You went to the front of his base and saw a bunker with Marines in it. You don't need a bunker with Marines in it unless you're like going for Cloaked Banshee or something that's super high up the tech tree. That's actually a really good bit of information to get up there. And if we march up with a Hellion and there wasn't this, we could count that set of units. Like if we saw some Marines in a tank, we could get a good read on this. So I would not be surprised to see a cancel and a a Raven go down. Oh, we see a barracks going down and a reactor. Okay, he's probably going to be swapping that thing out. Again, I don't really like tanks that much on this map. At least not early on. I prefer Marines and Marauders. Excuse me, Marines and Marauders. You know, a lot of times I would go to the everybody cam, but let's leave it on Sjow for now. Sjow. Weirdly enough, that is also the first scout. Still keeping these Marines here. I'm really wondering about that logic all game long. I can understand putting guys at the front and then pulling them back, but I mean, really, that one SCV got quite a bit of information. It looks like, no, he will in fact be building a Banshee to completion. Not really seeing anything else. And so in this light, I would really call this a, up to this point, a strict, straight-up opening with no deviation. I'm going to Banshee rush, scout with a Hellion, and for the most part, make a whole bunch of Marines with Stim. And I think that this Raven here, I really do think that this is because he went here and saw just a bunker. Almost certainly because he did that. Because if we scout around here, I don't see any engineering bay, no method of detection. There's an SCV coming out by Menace Fuzer. Banshee advancing right now. Looks like he is slowly building up enough money to expand. Alright, cool. I'm actually getting a good sense of this opening. Again, this is still an opening. I don't think there's really much thinking that's gone on within the game. Okay, now that's a very important thing that I just said. When I say that, I mean that at this point in time, Sjow really should just be thinking to himself, am I doing what I wanted to do? Did I actually build that factory on time, build that starport on time? Am I making Marines constantly? Am I making SCVs constantly? Did I get the reactor at a good time on my factory? Is my expo going down okay? Execution, execution. He's focusing on doing the opening, doing the opening. That's all he's focusing on. He's just doing the opening. He really, in my eyes, at this point, has not seen anything that would indicate to him whether he should be doing A, B, or C. He's just going right down a line. And that is something a lot of players fail to acknowledge, is when the thinking actually begins. At this point, there's been no real thought process. I would probably mimic this build exactly, right? I would follow it to the T because I haven't seen any deviation. Perhaps he might get a second Banshee if he didn't see this. Or perhaps he might just not make the Raven and give it to the factory. I don't know. I would probably say that that is the one potential decision that he has made. And now here's some decision making going on finally at this point. Sending that Banshee to the front instead of sending it straight to the mineral line. A lot of people tend to come down here and scoot up. It's a little intriguing to me, but either way, hey, what do you know? It's a Banshee coming down. I'm actually going to close production so you guys don't cheat, because I actually haven't been looking up there. But it looks like the Mariners are going to go up here, and oh, looks like he's going to be able to save it. But at the same time, Sjow is just picking off Marines. Now that is a very interesting move, because we saw that looks like our good friend Fuzer is trying as hard as he can to pick off SCVs, and then now it looks like he's backing up to pick off Marines.
Research.
And I think that that could potentially make a good bit of sense if you're Sjow. You say, hey, I want to pick off Marines because I want to be ahead in Marine count. I personally still think he probably should have at least gone for that back area first. But either way, he has the Raven. Oh, getting a Viking, fantastic, making more barracks. And now we're actually starting to get some more information. Looks like a big, scary push is moving out right now. This is a very common technique that we're seeing Menace Fuzer use. I'm attacking at the back, forcing you to have all your Marines at the back, and then I move out to the front. Sjow should have been moving that back earlier, but I mean, really, you should have a pretty easy time glancing and approximating this army in your head.
Is under attack.
Like, okay, when I see this, I see a factory that has been making siege tanks along with this Banshee, and probably a reactor barracks. Probably going to be a reactor barracks. Let's actually just check. Yeah, okay, great. How did I get that number? How did I get that number, right? Let's not overcomplicate it. Well, our Banshee killed off 2 Marines, and we see kind of a lot of Marines. That's about as much thought as I put into it. Kind of a lot. If I see not so many, maybe 5, 6, maybe like half that, or maybe 2/3 that, I'm probably going to go, oh yeah, pretty cool. In fact, I can even further state this to, I am either going to see a lot of Marines and some tanks, or a lot of tanks and a few Marines. That's generally the two little themes that we end up seeing here. And the reason that's so important to do is that you are getting a picture of his base just by a couple of glances, right? We know that there's one tech lab in his base. We haven't seen this cloak, so I guess he probably gave the factory so we could make siege tanks right away. I guess he got Marines from the reactor pretty early, so we already know he's probably not expanding that early on. His command center is probably behind ours, if at all. Has he even started one? No, it doesn't look like he started one. Yeah, he actually probably should have. He's a little bit money rich. But I mean, just being able to glance down here and approximate his base right off the get-go is really, 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 really important. And you can get pretty good at this if you just watch a lot of replays and just count. Just say, oh, like 3 tanks, 12 Marines. Oh, 5 tanks, 4 Marines. Hey, I have noticed differences. So, of course, he's going to go ahead and kill this off. And the one thing I'm actually getting a little bit concerned about is the fact that our Terran buddy, Sjow, has not really moved down his ramp. Generally, the big issue when you have this sort of army is if he has siege mode and he gets positioned properly. How many Marines do we have? I guess his Marine count was a little bit low. I maybe take that back. In general, I would say probably want to be setting himself up in an area where there's not going to be that much concern of getting surrounded. I'll actually go to the unit counting station. Yeah, he has 12 Marines versus the 9. Yeah, I guess that is going to be pretty tough. So yeah, I guess I do defend this decision to be up on the high ground. Maybe? I don't know. I'm still a little bit torn. Getting in positioning. Notice how calm this is. This was pretty damn calm by Sjow, right? Just getting in position and then going for it. And here comes the crunch. Uh-oh, is he going to lose that? Starting up, picking up the tanks. Could have spread that out maybe a little bit more, but overall, fantastic. Just fantastic little defense there. Alright, cool. And I heard one little, our blah 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 is under attack. Just wanted to watch our mini-map, make sure nothing else crazy was going on. Nifty, thrifty. I don't know whose scan that was, but looks like someone was scanning themselves, just making sure they wouldn't mess up. And there's the repair. And this is super bad. I'm actually curious when exactly this happened. And this is the sort of thing that I do a lot. I actually watch a lot of replays, once from one person's point of view, the other from the other person's point of view. Alright, hey, it looks like... is that when he messed that up? I'm actually going to continue backing up because that's actually a pretty significant mistake to make. Alright, let's watch this orbital command. Notice on the map that there is this big attack coming. This will happen a lot, like so much. I'm actually glad that this is how he made the mistake. Alright, cool. I want constant SCV production. Hip hip, hooray, hazam, shazam, the flam. And then, alright, there's some defense going on. And this is what, right when you win the battle, right when you're winning the battle, you go, oh, holy fuck, SS, let's select that command center again. Oh, I've held it off. Here, S, let's make another SCV. Oh my god, SS. Like, oh, SS. Now, just for the record, that's 50, 100, 150, 200, right? That we could have had 450 minerals. We probably could have built ourselves an extra barracks. There's a lot we could have done with that money. So don't fall into that trap of right after a battle going, holy fucking SCVs, Batman! And just fortunately, Sjow notices and just undoes his mistake. So super awesome. Now, this is a little bit interesting. Right after the battle, he's going to do a little bit more of the logic of scouting the front. He's going to try to get some vision. I don't really think of this as, hey, it's time to harass him. Let's see if harassment works, because that doesn't make sense to me. Why does that not make sense to me? Well, what the hell are you going to harass? You don't even know what his base looks like. You don't, well, I mean, you know that there's a reactor barracks and some siege tanks coming up, and probably that he hasn't expanded. What are you going to harass? Well, there's one answer. You can maybe poke and see if he has an expansion, try to burn some SCVs, but other than that, not much. So great, no reason to. I see no reason to harass. You just crushed a battle, going to the resource counting station. Yeah, Sjow's ahead. He's at 57 versus 50. And it looks like, oh yeah, he has the combat shield. He's making a lot of mariners. He's starting to build up medevacs. Fantastic. Great, great stuff. Hey! Hey, now there's some very useful information. Look at that great decision making. I'm going to poke at the front, back up. Time to get the Xel'Naga watchtowers. Now, there is a Banshee here. I'm going to ignore it for the time being. Let's think about these Hellions. Why does Sjow poke here and then pull back? Think about it for a minute. Think about it. And I will consume this delicious Los Angeles tap water. Think about it. Why did he advance to the expansion and then back up to the two Xel'Naga caverns? I have an answer. I have it. It's 2 tickets to that thing you love. So here's the answer. He checks the expansions. There's Hellions. There's nothing there. That means my opponent is one basing really, really hard, right? Holy cow, if he's one basing, he's going to be doing drops, Banshee harass, or a big push. Drops, Banshee harass, those first two, the best defense against them is just vision, is just seeing what the hell's going on. So he sees that and then says, holy crap, I might be under some pressure from Banshees. Incidentally, I'm moving the entire Starcraft thing. So psst, guys, psst, I have a secret. Don't move your Starcraft window out of the way. So we can even play peekaboo. He's making Banshees, isn't he? Alright, let's go ahead and move this back. Alright, let's just tilt this up. Alright, I'm getting approximately correct here. And this is about as good as it's going to get, folks. This is about as awesome as Day 9 does it. Come on, there we go. Perfect. El fantastico. Yes. So we're going to see Fuzer. He's going to go ahead and keep poking around. It's alright. We need to be a little bit better on our defense. Looks like we have a Viking coming back. And, I don't actually mind this Sjow isn't really moving a lot of these units. He's just sticking here with the Viking because it can be a real trap to rush everything wherever one Banshee is, because then you're a little bit easy to manipulate. And your opponent can sort of catch you off guard. S. Be careful about that. Very, very common problem. Spamming the S button. And honestly, when you're a little bit low on supply because you've had battles, it's very easy to forget supply. I would not be surprised if Sjow just got supply blocked when he was at 78. Very, very common. When people are in the rhythm of making those depots frequently, it's like depot, good, depot. They're fine when they're building up their big armies, but notice how we're getting real close to 78. That is just a super easy thing to forget. So hey, how many times has Sjow come down and checked this right half here? I count 3 times. Once with the initial Hellion, twice with these 2 Hellions, and 3 times with this Banshee. That is a big, big signal. And look, he just checks it and pops right on back. Probably going to wait a little bit and end up poking in here. Has not really been that much aggression into the main. We do have a tank coming out. I'm ambivalent about that placement, but whatever. Hey, he's moving a Raven over to the side. Why do I like this? 2 reasons. He can do Raven harass. 3rd reason. Apparently I just skipped the 2nd reason. 3rd reason, we're just continuing this theme of having vision. Notice across the middle of the map, we're drop proof. Hey! Who got supply blocked? Sjow did. 78 to 78. Such a common problem. I say it because if you know it's there, hey, it can end up happening. So, we're actually getting some scooting going on. Here comes some fancy Raven harass. Pew! Be careful that you don't end up doing some self-harassment. Hey, there's some good decision-making. Hitting the back and the front at the same time. Excuse me, just be a little bit careful. Did lose the Banshee. That's a common mistake with that. Oh, hey, looks like another Banshee coming down. Probably want that to be stopped. But, no big deal. It happens. He's doing a good job of staying put. Now, for the record, we see 2 factories. 2 factories. 2 factories. What does this mean? What does that mean? Alright? Put on your thinking caps. What does that mean? 2 factories. It means an army that's going to be immobile! Yay! Let's actually do all 3 steps in that. Step 1, he has factories with 2 tech labs. Step 2, siege tanks are almost certainly going to be made out of that. So, step 3, siege tanks don't really move when they are sieged. Yay! We have deduced immobility. What is the next reasonable step for Sjow? Move out with his big army. Want to keep a few of those fancy units, like the Vikings, back. Keeping vision on things, but, you know, want to be careful. Or, okay, now that we see the starport lifted, no need to do that. Looks like we're still making a lot of mariners in Camp Sjow, but gotta move out pretty soon here. And when I say move out, I mean take this out and just kind of advance an army somewhere out here. Keep spotters. Keep spotters. Building a depot here is always kind of a reasonable choice to do. But yeah, okay, we saw an army. Very good response time like that. And yeah, Sjow now moving out. Perfect. Very good. Very fancy stuff. So good, so good. There's our big confrontation. This is perfect for Sjow. Notice how he gets on the confrontation before the tank siege. This is why you want to be moving out. You want to be advancing forward. I somewhat dislike that Sjow was this far back to his own base, because what if the tanks got sieged up here? Not a very far distance to walk siege tanks up to here. However, if we got into the battle, say here, then we can back up to here, and then force the tanks to re-siege, and then back up to here, and actually force them to be clustered in this little alley. Oh, it's so good. There's the stim. Oh, yep, scooting guys out. That top flank needs to be going a little bit up and left. But yeah, see, very, very simple little exchange there. I just want to watch that one more time. I'm going to go ahead and see that in action just one more, because I'm actually going to go to the everyone cam for just 1 minute. So that is a lot of Marines. That's 17. There's 5 tanks. It's going to be against 1 tank. How many is that? Oh, not that many more than 17. Some, ooh, actually, that's a good amount of Marauders, yeah. But I do think that Fuzer probably would have been somewhat even if he had engaged that while everything was sieged. But let's see how many shots the tanks got off. Oh, they're only just now sieging. Oh my god, so there's about 1 volley. And there's about, like, so 1.5 volleys for every tank. That's no wonder it got crushed so bad. We even see that in the food differential. Very nice little play. Now we're going to go back to the Sjow cam. The Sjow cam! Yes, fantastic. This is something that is good to do. Notice how he keeps coming to this side so many times. Keeps coming to this side. It's the easiest retreat path, and obviously we don't have to worry about the ramp and stuff coming down the ramp. This, I actually think, is something you've got to be a little bit careful of. Coincidentally, it was a good decision. Coincidentally, this little attack was a good decision, but at least do a little bit of scan, at least poke here with vision, and at the very friggin' least, I mean, take some shots over here, you know, you can always rush up here and kill this if it's something that's killable, but a lot of times people will win the battle and then just sort of, oh my god, and then end up moving out. So, to recap, and again, we're going to go through this exact same replay again. We're going to go through it again from the other player's point of view. Don't go anywhere. That's why it's still not done. Stay. Stay, damn it. So general theme, looked like a big scary push was coming out. There was an overall pretty damn good opening from Sjow. And once he held off the push, he just sort of held and held and held and held until he did a little bit of harassment, which gave him information on what was going on in his opponent's base. And then he just moved forward, trying to get into a good position. And then it was really that second big attack where he ended up winning. Pretty cool, pretty cool. So it looks like Fuzer wanted to veto something. But let's go ahead and rewatch that from the Fuzer cam. So let's hit the T button. For any of you who didn't know, the magical T button lets you return back to the start. So, the GGL from Fuzer. Good game. Luck. Coming out. SCV's ready. Looks like another SCV ready. Building another supply depot. I do think your first depot should almost always go there. That'll block Blue Flame Hellion drops a little more easily. This doesn't do much. This I don't mind at all. I kind of like that. Hey, cool, creating a nice little cup for ourselves. That would be useful against Protoss or Zerg. Less so against Terran, but figure I'll point it out anyways. And there is the command center going down. Fantastic. Constantly making Marines thus far. Great. We're probably going to end up seeing... it looks like a factory going down. Yep, there's a factory going down. I do like the fact that the Marines are forward. Again, I'm not entirely sure why Sjow was doing that craziness with keeping all his Marines here. But, this is kind of interesting. He actually stopped a Marine. So that way he could build this refinery a little bit earlier. We're actually going to see that one more time. Yeah. We're going to contrast this quite sharply with the other player that we just saw. Sjow was constantly making Marines and SCVs. But look at this. Oh, there's the refinery going down. And cuts one Marine. Okay, that's kind of useful to know. Because the way I would describe that is not refinery on 18. I would call that make 2 Marines and then immediately make a refinery. And then go back to Marine production. It's so much easier that way. It's not anything overly fancy. Again, and that's kind of useful things to note. Because then you have other reminders. Not just, is my food good? No. Is my food good? No. Is my food at the right thing? Yes, I'm building it. If you're saying things in your head like, I need to constantly be making Marines and SCVs, and then when I have enough money, do blank, now you're actually having a goal that's a little bit more useful in-game. So figured I'd gripe between the differences of those. Probably going to be a reactor going down now. No, it looks like... Okay, he's sending a Marine a little farther, or an SCV out. Okay, he's, yep, checking this watchtower. It looks like he's even heading up here to do something a little bit cheesy. And there's the refinery going down, making the Marines. I actually do like this general opening quite a bit. We're not scouting him yet because we're making a lot of Marines, so we're pretty proof to anything that ends up happening. And in the cases where we're not proof, we make a bunker. Make a bunker. And I would actually venture to say that that bunker that went down coincides with when we end up getting the reactor. So there's the bunker going down, reactor going down as well. Alright, cool. Alright, sweet. Yeah, calling it. And there's the starport going down. Looks like we just got that right when our factory finished. Oh yeah, he's making a tech lab. Hey, this makes all sorts of great sense, right? Why are we throwing the bunker down? Because we literally can't make units anymore. Because we're getting add-ons, damn it. Alright, great. Yeah, so we're going to load up that bad boy. Oopsie daisies. So there's a mistake. There's a big mistake. Holy cow. What does the SCV do when it finishes the bunker? What does it do? What does it do? It sits there. It's idle. There he is. Idle worker. Does that actually work for the observer? No, I can press it and you see it getting depressed. Oh, poor little depressed SCV. Yes. Always, when you build a structure, hold shift and send it back to the minerals. And I know all of you go, oh yeah, I do that. Yeah, totally. But people, like Fuzer, every once in a while, they'll go, oh, it's just a bunker. I'll just hit B and build a bunker. It's fine. I'll just send it back later. Every freaking building, an SCV should always be heading back. Every pylon, everything. And this is when the screen hotkeys become useful. In this game, they're the F5 to F8, depressingly enough. I really wish they were F2 to F4. So you know what? I'll do the F2 to F4 example, because that's the way it worked in Brood War. You take an SCV, you move it to where you want, you hit Build Supply Depot, BS, build it, hit F2, then hold Shift, and then right-click back. Isn't that easy? BS, F2, Shift, BAM. So in this game, it would be like BS, F5, Shift, BAM. Every single time. Every single time it should be that. Shazam, wabam. Because every once in a while this will happen and you'll go, and, oh, okay, so now we're starting to see some interesting timings. Engineering bay going down. Looks like we're getting our Banshee. Oh, Hellion checking the front. We just got a little bit of information when we saw that Hellion. And I really wish that this nuclear friggin' explosion on my minimap would go away, so I'll actually wait a little bit longer. Go away. You're distracting me. Thank you. We saw a Hellion, so we know that probably some sort of delay going on that tech lab. Generally, when there's a delay on the tech lab, we don't really see tanks that commonly. Generally. It's not as strong as, holy cow, there's a bunker. Probably some sort of fast tech. That's a little bit stronger of an assumption. But fortunately, we just gets to waltz right in the front of the base and see everything that's going on. So that was pretty easy. So we're seeing Siege Tank come out, no siege mode. We're seeing Mariners should be coming out. And this missile turret goes down. And I just want to note how nicely this lines up. Notice that when our Banshee is getting close to finish is around the time when this missile turret is getting close to finish. Yeah, we could actually delay this engineering bay a little bit. We could delay it a little bit. Maybe do something more useful, like maybe build a command center and then engineering bay and turret. Because, hell, if we went barracks, factory, and then immediately a starport and a Banshee, and we're building it next to our opponent's base, there's no way our opponent could be getting a Banshee faster than this. So why are we defending against a Banshee that literally cannot physically arrive earlier than ours can? Like, already, right now, we still know we don't need a missile turret done yet. We don't need a missile turret done yet. We don't need a missile turret done yet. And in a little bit, we will actually need that. So either way, we see tanks and mariners getting made. Needs to be a little bit better about making them mariners. Getting quasi-supply block. And there is the Banshee coming out. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. We could have delayed this missile turret a little bit. Yeah, we could have done something more useful. So we see him going directly for the mariners in the back. And we see also an expansion going down. Alright, cool. Alright, great. Uh-oh, picking off them marines. Looks like we're having a little bit of lossage ourselves.
Research complete.
And, you know, this is a very common thing to happen. If we just look at the way that the macro looked. Actually, I want to go to the Fuzer cam. Going to the Fuzer cam. Hitting the C button. There's our C button. Alright, making marines. Holy cow, a Banshee. Well, alright, I'm going to micro my Banshee. This is again through the eyes of Menace Fuzer. Alright, okay, gotta make marines. That's good. But is he making anything from the siege tanks? Actually, I'm looking right here on the mini-map. Or on the map, right here, where there's barracks and marines are getting made. Oh, crap. I accidentally touched the edge of the screen, which took me off his vision. Alright, cool. So now I'm back on the Menace can. Yes, he's making the marines. I'm not going to move my mouse anymore for risk of interrupting that. And yeah, it looks like he's doing just micro. Notice how he's not macroing. Look at his money. Glance at his money. It's getting up to 330, 165, 170. There's no siege tank getting made right now. There could be. Alright, he just built something. I actually want to pause to see what that is. Did he make a siege tank? Yep, he did. That siege tank is a little bit late. It's honestly quite a little bit late. Oh no, is he getting supply blocked? Yeah, is he making a depot? No. Ah. Isn't that sort of funny how the instant there's anything else to do other than looking at his base, you see things fall apart. You see that Banshee control kind of faltered. You see, oh, there's another Banshee at my front. And then he forgets Marines. Or he doesn't forget Marines, but he forgets the tank and he forgets the depot. Ooh. Ooh. Kind of an easy sort of thing to see. Gonna go back to his camera. But in the moment, it feels so real. And oh my god, we're over 400. What could we possibly do? Oh, yep, looks like he needs to build a depot. And build a friggin' command center. Rawr, build a command center. Now, in terms of timing attack, I do like Fuzer's timing. I do think this is great. He saw an expansion command center. Remember, we're trying to go off as much as we see as possible. We saw a Banshee from our opponent, which generally means he's going to be a little bit behind on the tanks and the Marines, unless he's doing exactly what Fuzer's doing. And we saw a command center. Yeah, he's not, right? Obviously not. So this I actually think is a great little time to push, but oh my goodness. This is where I think Fuzer's first big mistake comes. This is actually pretty enormous. Oh, God almighty, he's still supply blocked. Oh, geez. Oh, no. Oh, God. I can't believe he's done this. He really needs to build a command center, build a command center, build a command center, because this is really smart. If you are going for an army play, just a lot of units, and your opponent is going for somewhat of an expansion play, then yeah, attack, damn it. But also, this command center can easily be planted here, and even if it is there, then build it a century earlier, s'il vous plaît. Now, with a lot of early attacks, most early attacks, because they're early, mean that you don't have some sort of huge edge. Do not get gung-ho like this. This is bad. Put your siege tanks somewhere like here. Not here, where they literally have a perfect arc that can surround and put him back a little bit. Or maybe put one here, and then walk your Marines up. And then you can still hit these buildings. You want to be very slow and methodical with these pushes. This is rarely a game-winning push. So see, here comes the perfect surround. And he's going to back up a little bit. And notice that there's still a perfect arc. Look at the arc that his opponent can go for. And this tank is getting positioned rather smartly. But again, another scan needs to be spent. How tragic. Oh my goodness. Oh, blast it. And really, to go back to the base in this battle, because so much bad, negative things happen in the battles. And of course, I mean, that makes sense. I mean, all your attention is elsewhere. Look how much money we have. We could make some more barracks. Uh-oh. In fact, with these two canceled, we can have 600 minerals total. Oh, 600 minerals. Oh, hey. Remember how I said with Sjow in the middle of the battle, he was like, SCVs. This is this optical illusion that happens when you're in the midst of a battle, where you say, I got a macro, holy shit, I have to macro. And what do? You forget that you took the arms off your computer chair and almost fall over in the middle of a cast. Okay, so you're in a battle and you know, I want a macro. For argument's sake, let's just say 5 is your barracks, 6 is your factory. Let's just assume that. You'll go 5, AA, 6, S. Okay, 4, S. 4 is your command center. Alright, cool, let's do that. but you're queuing up units and it's gonna make me vomit. I'm gonna go, oh God. Why do people do this? Oh, well, it's because you're having adrenaline cloud your judgment. Again, this is reasonable because a lot of real-time strategy games is the mental checklist. Did I build SCVs? Did I make Marines? Did I make siege tanks? Did I make depots? Let's loop through it again. Did I make SCVs? Did I make Marines? Did I make siege tanks? Did I make depots? You go through this in your head very slowly, very methodically. It has a rhythm to it. Am I making the decisions? Am I making the decisions? All right, good. All right, good. But when you get in a battle and you're intense, you go, decisions, decisions. You start going through it faster and faster without thinking. That's bad. That's dangerous. So, I want to pretend that I'm looking here in the battle, that I'm looking here. And then I want to tap 5, tap 6, tap 5, tap 6, tap 5, tap 6, then tap 1, because that's where my army is. So from Fuzer's point of view, we go 1. It looks like he has 2 as the hotkey. All right, looks like he's going tap the barracks, tap the army, tap the factory, tap the barracks. You tap once, you just go, and you see if you actually need to make anything. You don't go 5 AA, just go 5 Marine, Marine, Marine. You want to tap. You want to go 5. Do I need to do anything? No, I just want to check with my eyes. Great. I just check with my eyes and return back to the battle. Right? I check with my eyes. Here, I just tap 6, check with my eyes, and then return my eyes to here. And then I want to check my barracks. All right, well, my eyes go back down here, and then my eyes come on back. And this is so, so bad because we're seeing Fuzer. Oh, no, he's battled. Oh, my God. Oh, my God, I have to focus. Oh. Siege tank, Mariners, SCVs, all early. Where's barracks number 2, barracks number 3, factory number 2? That is the classic macro mistake. Now, to be entirely honest, I liked Fuzer's opening quite a bit. I liked it a lot. I especially liked it when he sent the Banshee in there. Oh, how glorious. I see a command center there. If I'm making a lot of units and haven't even been able to afford a command center, and you have, I know I have a bigger army, so I should push and do a little damage with my bigger army. It makes so much freaking sense. But in the meantime, this expansion command center should have been going down earlier. All these extra unit producing structures should have been going down. All should have been happening. And now that the battle's finished, we're seeing Fuzer clean things up a little bit. Notice how he's, oh yeah, maybe I should have had some barracks up. Such a common issue. Such a common issue. But now look at the fact that he's not queuing. Now the macro looks pretty. It was ugly there for a minute. There were things queued up. But now it's starting to get pretty. And now suddenly comes a big swell of, holy cow, I need to make units. Now I just opened up the resource tab so that way we can kind of see that they're pretty even in terms of food. But the big difference is that Sjow already has these 3 unit producing structures done and is making use of this 4th. And he's getting an add-on for his factory. Overall, he's going to have 5 unit-producing structures with these 5 buildings, and they're pretty much up and operational. Meanwhile, Fuzer basically has 3 unit-producing structures. And we're going to see his macro slip behind. So then here comes the transfer. All looks good. All right, fantastic. Getting some siege tanks. Oop, forgetting to macro a little bit. And here comes another little bit of ugliness. Again, very common after a battle. Very common to say, holy crap, I need to make more structures. And you do. And then you kind of forget to make things, or even you're broke. Now, I do think that this is quite smart. I'm just going to harass because I know he's expanded. He has to spread out. After that exchange, he's kind of low on units. Great. Nothing wrong with that at all. I think that this is a great little move here by Fuzer. Needs to not overdo it. Hey, look at how close that count of money is. Oh, this has been such an effective Banshee. This has been so great. Let's go back to the Fuzer cam. All right, Tech Labs, Tech Labs. Uh-oh, is he not macroing? Uh-oh.
Add-on.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh God. Oh, I can't believe you've done this. Oh God. Oh no. Oh no. Oh my God. Oh God. Okay, so I'm starting to get a clear sense of what went wrong, right? not enough unit-producing structures during the battle, and then suddenly sprint to 7 of them, and uh-oh, I can't really do much with them. I'm making an overly big deal about it. Again, this is a common problem. Fuzer's a good player, and it's kind of noteworthy that, hey, this is actually a problem up at these high levels. But, you know, oh, by the way, salvage that bunker, get a little bit of extra money. But still, this sort of thing is a big uh-oh. Because to be entirely blunt, if we had just been remembering to make tanks this whole time, we wouldn't even need this second factory, and we'd be churning out Marines, and we'd be kind of broke. Which is just the way we like it. We love being broke in this game. And oh my god, remember how there was just a 10 food differential? Actually, oh gosh, that is such a great point. Oh, day 9. Oh my god, it's almost like you've done a lot of these dailies. Alright, backing up, back on up, back on up. Yeah, right when this Banshee dies, I just want you to note the food. 60 to 54. 60 to 54. Still pretty close. I do think that Fuzer could have made this orbital command a little earlier and should have gotten these things down earlier. And we're going to see exactly what macro bumps feel like. Because now that I'm looking at this game from the loser's point of view, I want to say, well, what did he do wrong? Because, hell, it looked right. He had all the right units. Hell, I even love that he got a double tech lab and is only making Marines. Because now he can set himself up a nice timing push with the combat shield and the stim. Hey, wait a minute. We were about 7 food apart, and now we're 12 food apart. Uh-oh, this was dangerous. Oh, look how broke Fuzer is. Look at how super damn-ass broke he is. He's damn-ass broke. There's another good day 9ism. Oh my gosh, is he about to be 20 food behind? Well, I mean, his money's low. He's macroing well. Okay, it looks like he's trying to claw his way back. Oh man, okay, finally he's managing to catch up. Whew! And by the way, this is that part where Sjow got supply blocked. That happens. Banshee starting to move out a little bit. Oh no. Oh, and a little bit of an attack here. And we do see, the good old 1A Syndrome looks like, yes, he's going to be able to defend that. Splitting things up. This Raven Harass is just very, very smart by his opponent. Part of me wants to say, why was there no attempt to take this out? There should always be a pretty big battle for who has vision. Because this Raven kind of just got to walk there without any trouble whatsoever. And look at that. That's actually a pretty cool little bit of harassment right there. Pretty cool. Now, I actually want to come back and note that these factories have not really been able to do much. They're kind of a little dry on the production. Just a little bit stings a touch. And there's nothing wrong with 2 factories, just make sure you have the gas for it. But still, I think that Fuzer probably did a pretty reasonable job of holding that off. Maybe could have done a little bit better, but there's no vision. Okay, so yeah, this push that's coming out right now. This is happening because these 2 upgrades are done. And I want to stop one more time and just say what a timing push is. A timing push is an attack that happens at a pretty good time. That's about it. We use the word timing push because it's an easier way to say, ooh, that is a good time to do that. And of course that is a noun, so it's easier as a caster. Oh, what a great timing push. But a timing push is as simple as a good time to attack. Stim and combat shield both finished, really good time to attack. If you get stim and combat shield and then sit on your ass for 10 minutes, that probably wasn't really well timed. If you attack, oh, here's an even better example. If you wait until your +1 attack upgrade is 80% from being done and then you attack, that's a bad time to attack because you don't have your +1 yet. But right when +1 finishes, that's a timing attack. Okay, good. That's a general good time to attack. It doesn't mean that you have to attack, right? A timing attack is a pretty damn good time to attack. That does not mean that you have to attack. It doesn't mean you have to attack. So there is the scan right there. And hey, it looks like I can take that. But don't forget that your tanks need to be sieged. And of course, let's watch this battle first. Yep, there's the stim forward. Why are you stimming? Rushing up with your Marines, so that way they can sprint ahead of unsieged tanks. Here comes the 1 volley. See, this tank gets 1 shot off and then dies. These tanks in the back got about 2 shots off. And then look at our food differential. It looks like we lost almost everything. Have to be very careful. This is a pretty good time to attack, as one would imagine. But I think that this scan was very well planted. Very, 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 very nice scan. Very, very good. But there hasn't really been active scouting by Fuzer. It looks like he's doing a good job of macroing right now, but there was still such a significant bump. He's still about 18 food behind at the final confrontation. He was about 6 food difference between himself and his opponent, and now it's up to 18. That's a macro bump, ladies and gentlemen. If you botch something a little bit, even though you're doing approximately the correct thing, it will nip you in the butt, to use a phrase that my grandma thinks is the awesomest thing she's ever said. So we're going to go back here to the battle, and I just want to note, battle happening. No macro. Not queuing up is just as bad as not building anything. Not building anything. Hey, now that everything's dead, oh yeah, I guess I better build things. And of course you will. And he's in a little bit of an awkward spot. But, you know, if he moved up to here and scanned, there's nothing wrong with just killing this off. I mean, really, he had this huge army. Why not sort of push out, maybe poke here, just get a little bit of vision. A little bit too passive, and that is the general issue that happens when you move out with a good little timing push, but then your fundamentals are off. I'm not expanding as soon as I should. I'm not checking for the Zelmaga watchtowers, all that good jazz. Want to do that. So I hope that that was kind of a useful example of 2 players. I liked Sjow's decision making. He had a few little bumps in there with supply depots. Probably could have transferred some more SCVs. And we saw that Fuzer did a really nice opening as well. I think he could have delayed the engineering bay with the turret. Perhaps he considered that and said, yeah, but there's no real reason to. It doesn't change anything. It's totally fine. Nothing wrong with that, as long as there's a reason. But then when the push out, didn't build the command center as early, and then the classic bump in macro. Oh gosh, I'm queuing things up while I'm in the battle, so my money's low, but all that spent money is just on units waiting to be built. Not units actively building, units waiting to be built. Just don't queue those up and spend that money on other things extra. So we clearly see, I think, that is why Fuzer lost. So, I don't know about you, but I thought that was pretty cool. I think it's the first time that we've ever done a daily like that. Hey, dear live chat folks, if it was good, feel free to type a 2 up there so I can see all the happy 2s. Because 2 is a warm number. Oh, it implies friendship. So, let's see here. Some people ask me about the grid hotkey setup. I know the little one uses that. But most important thing is that you're comfortable. That is the most important thing. That is the most important thing. And I want to just note a few more things about that game. Both players got, I would say 3 to 4 key pieces of information, like ultra key, that really, that's about it. You don't need huge, you don't need to see exactly what they're doing. You just need to know just classes of what they're doing. Like, oh, he went a reactor barracks play. He went a non-reactor barracks play. Sort of split this up into 2 different things. JGun83 says, Dear Day 9, how do you feel about not scouting an opponent early in the game? Is it a significant liability most of the time to wait for a basic unit to come out before scouting? It really depends on your build, the style, and what sort of deviations you do. So, let's pick a style that we want to think about. No, you know what? I'm going to leave it in abstract terms. And then we'll do a specific example. Let's say that you have a good army mix you want to go for. So that would be something like Zealot, Stalker, Templar. Zealot, Stalker, Colossus. Roach, Hydra, right? That's a mix that you want to go for. And you have a build that you just kind of want to go for it, right? Just kind of want to go for it. So you start doing the build, and then he does one strategy. And yeah, it looks like you can hold it. And then he does a completely different strategy. Yeah, it looks like you don't die. And he does another completely different strategy. And you don't die. Alright, cool. Since it seems like almost no matter what he does, you don't die, you don't need a scout because you don't know when you need to deviate. Let's actually make this concrete. Let's say I'm a Protoss and I want to do this early expand 6 warp gate style. I really want to be going for this. In a lot of circumstances, sorry, I'm trying to sort through all the possibilities right now. In a lot of circumstances, if he early expands, Whether he's going Roach, or going Muta, or going Hydra, and I do mean Roach off Hatch Tech, or Hydra off Layer Tech, or Spire off Layer Tech, just going for a 6 Warp Gate push really fast after you've really expanded can deal with all of those. Deals with all of them just fine. But it's the people who one base for a little bit longer. That's when you suddenly go, ooh, yeah, ouch. I really need to worry about Banelings a little more. I need to delay that 4 Warp Gate because I just need to not die to the Baneling, not die to the Roach bust, not die to all those things. So now there's the later term stuff that I don't die to, and the earlier on stuff that I do die to. So now that you have established what you beat and what you don't beat, then, last step of all, you say, when do I need a scout? To figure out, is he doing this stuff, or is he doing that stuff? And that's it. It's very, very simple. So, I mean, for instance, oh my gosh, Sjow waited for such a long time to send out a scout. Well, in my eyes, that makes sense. He probably said to himself, I'm going to do this Masked Marine style, but if I poke up his ramp, and I see there's a bunker, and I'm worried about Banshees, I'll probably need to get a Raven in there. Other than that, I'm just going to do this and expand, and then play the game based upon when he expands. It's fine. That seems smart to me, because now he knows, oh, cool, I'm not going to lose an SCV early on. This happens all the time, where people just send an SCV out. All right, I want to find out what he's doing. He's making a barracks? Gas? Orbital command? Great. Oh, there's a Marine. Time to go home. What did you gain? You gained absolutely nothing. That was terrible. That was the worst scout I've ever heard in my life. Shame on you. So yeah, very important that you just do some scouting. Just do some scouting. So I see a lot of 2s in chat. I love how I said, if you liked it, put a 2. I didn't tell you any number to put if you didn't like it. That is awesome. Bam. So yeah. All right, here's a great question by Judas. Or Judas. There's 2 Ds, so I don't know whether to be like Judas. Dear Day 9, when Sjow got the Viking, why did Blue keep Banshee harassing instead of Ravens or Medivacs? Because after the first Viking, all Banshee harass was super pointless. Well, not necessarily. There was that one Banshee that came in there and got about 8 kills after the fact. You do have to be a little bit careful with it. It might not be the best expenditure. Things pulling you towards, yes, Banshee harass is a good idea, would be, for instance, hey, he has spread out bases with not that many units. Can't be all over the place at once, so obviously my Banshee can do a little bit of damage bouncing between the main and the natural. Things pulling away is, yeah, he already does have the Viking out, so I'm kind of torn. I wouldn't mind doing something like pushing out with a little bit of a force from Blue. Pushing, sort of doing a little bit of jutting back and forth business, and then hitting them with the back on the Banshee. So, like that sort of stuff. Let's take some more questions. Let us take some more questions. Let's just take 2 more because I'm hungry. And then I'll give a treat to you live viewers. After I turn off the recording, I will play The Boy in His Game, which you should Google, The Boy in His Game. It is a radio play I did. It was awesome. Yeah. I was very proud of that one because I spent like 10 hours doing it. So let us divine. People asking a lot of questions about scouting. Scouting. I'll take this one. Eskimo W says, Sir J9 Thought Hammer, I noticed you don't focus as intensely on the minimap as you did in older videos. Would you say StarCraft 2 gives players less or more map control than they had in Brood Wars? I just didn't talk about the minimap in this game, but, you know, you're kind of always drawn to the minimap. I would like to reemphasize that the minimap is the most important part of the entire screen. This area is the most important part of the screen. And I say that, and people go, oh, yes, it's very, very important, yes. But I want to reemphasize, most of the time, you should actually be looking at that minimap. More than anything else, this area up here of the screen, this top area, is not that important. It's only really important in like super intense micro battles, which don't actually happen that much. Or if you need to plant a building, but seriously, plant a building and then look down here and then look up here at your money. And then when you're in a battle on the main screen, tap 5 and then look down here and that sort of stuff. Minimap, really, 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 really important. God, it is important. Ugh. Ugh. Alright, so Scram T says, Day Niner, how do I make the decision on whether a given build isn't strong enough in a matchup, or whether one player just executed poorly when watching the replay? So that is the most important question to ask. How do I tell? That's why macro is so important. If you watch a game of yours and you say, man, I made as many units as I could, I didn't queue up, I never forgot a depot, I never forgot an SCV, and I got raped. You can say, there's a problem with my strategy. In this game, Fuzer did a pretty damn good strategy, but botched that macro and botched the expand timing on his command center. So is that a good strategy or not? Well, I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell because he didn't macro well. If you get in a battle and you lose it barely and you have $4,000 in the bank, you maybe could have won that battle. You'll never know until your macro is really good. So that's why it's quite useful to watch high-level replays and take all the strategies with a grain of salt, just get the general trends and stuff, and then to go drill them out yourself. A lot of people will overly obsess about all the fanciness, but just for the record, all that fancy cool stuff is reserved for the players who have good macro and good skill. Because at the end of the day, no matter what he's doing, he will always lose if he doesn't have a lot of shit. Yeah. Yeah. So, yes, macro. And honestly, to answer that question a little more, I don't ever watch a replay and go, garbage, he didn't macro well. Close replay. I try to take it with a grain of salt. I try to go, oh, okay, you know what, that battle I think could have gone better. Like when I see this game, I think, oh, this battle up here, this could have gone better. Maybe if blue had sieged up and become gently pushing, and yeah, probably could have done this orbital command a little better and done this stuff. So yeah, you know what, I'm going to steal your build, Fuzer, because I like the reactor, the siege tanks, the push, I like the bunker at the front, I like the Banshee harass. So I'm going to steal that, and I'm going to try to improve on it and build on that. And then suddenly, you have taken a build that you have seen and thought was kind of cool, you have made it your own, done it even better, and you've developed a unique style. Because there's so much wiggle room in StarCraft 2 that's where style comes from. So that is what I have to say about that. I'm going to wrap up this daily. So once again, Fun Day Monday for next week. Send to monday@day9.tv. A game of you playing 1v1 where you must expand every 4 minutes. Once it hits 4 minutes, 8 minutes, 12 minutes, 16 minutes, and so on and so forth, you must plant a command center or plant a nexus or plant a hatchery. If it dies, you cannot build it any sooner. If you're in the midst of a terrible crisis, you must build it at that exact time. Send those replays. It'll be fun. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.